the lineup. Fialecki, Shivovsky, Wagon, Moody in the centres. Groth, Kelly, Custo, Smith, the Hindmarsh brothers, Vella, Dimmick in number 13 playing at hooker dummy half. Wesley, then Moran, Ryan, Larson, Wozniak, and coached by Brian Smith. The Broncos, that's the way they look. Lockyer, Takiri, Carroll, DeVere, Sailor, Eichen. Captain Kevin is back. Campion, Thorne, Tallis, Sivanasiva, Fridis, Webke, Carlaw, Hancock, Harrison, Berrigan, coached by Wayne Bennett. A much more settled appearance over the Broncos than that which we're presented with the Eels. And Kevin Walters, as I said, is back. He will work the scrums, and Ben Eichen will play at 5'8". Some of the injured players, the Walker brothers, for instance. Smoke coming down the ground after the fireworks display. And Andrew, I hope you're not suffering from passive smoking.
Yeah, and quite breezy, in fact, tonight, Ray, as well. In fact, it'll be quite an assistance for the Broncos in the first half. And you remember when these two sides clashed in round 2 this year, it was a match in the balance until the final few minutes when Brad Thorne crashed over. Got a feeling could be the same tonight. One right down to the wire.
So there will be a moment's silence in respect of Tom Drysdale, a life member and the former chairman of the Queensland Rugby League. Tom's funeral was held yesterday, and to his family and friends and relatives we extend our deepest sympathy to him, to that family of Tom Drysdale. Great man for rugby league he was. Referee tonight is Paul Simpkins. Brisbane running right to left. So we're underway. Competition leaders Brisbane up against a team that has proved their nemesis at ANZ Stadium. In fact, Brian Smith has got a very good record against the Broncos. Parramatta with first use of the football back on their own 20-metre line.
And Ray, you're right, Jim Dimmick does slot into the dummy half role, and that means that there's going to be a major change in their attacking plays. As Dimmick scoots out of dummy half, they always work for Dimmick on the right-hand side of the field, Jason Smith to the left-hand side. That won't happen tonight if Jimmy Dimmick is close to the ruck.
Jason Smith playing the ball 7 metres from the halfway line. Custo, left-footed kick, down to Wendell, and Sailor comes away from his 10 metres. Lockyer with him, watching him. Parramatta's chase on the kick, good. 3 men in defence. Brad Thorne now. Got through the first, but Nathan Hindmarsh in 11 made the tackle eventually. Now Webke. Again, they're through the front line. So a couple of tacklers from Parramatta on the last 2 players have dropped off. And it's been left to the second line of defence to stop the attacking raid from Brisbane. They go right for Thorne out wide. And they continue that way. Paraikins grubber kick. Beautifully picked up and taken. And Parramatta have turned it around. This is Jason Moody. The chase is on. He's away from the final endeavour. And Jason Moody, the former Newcastle Knight, is under the uprights off a little kick by Ben Eichen that went horribly wrong, embarrassingly wrong.
It's an awful kick from Benny Eichen. The Broncos had played so well. The first 4 tackles they'd made, look, 60 metres. And then Ben, I don't know what he was trying to do here, trying to stab one through, but it went straight to the Parramatta player. Then Jason Moody got it, and he had plenty of work to do. He beat Sivanasiva, he beat Lockyer, DeVere came. DeVere's pretty quick. Just that last step, and he got away, Moody. What a great start for the Eels.
Well, it was an unbelievable start because Brisbane, as you pointed out, looked so dangerous in the opening set of 6. breaking the front line almost at will. And at the end of that set of 6, we see Jason Moody racing 70 metres to get the first points, and 4 will become 6. And Parramatta, well, they have no fear coming to the ANZ Stadium. Ray pointed out they've been here 6 times, 1 on 4 occasions. They've also had 1 draw here, so only the 1 loss from their half dozen starts. And what a confidence booster in the first 2 minutes here.
Well, Jason Moody, a wing 3/4. Tonight he partners Daniel Wagon, better known as a wing 3/4, in the centres. There's Brian Smith, the man responsible for putting the final team together. He's got a couple of wingers playing centre. He's got a fullback playing wing. And he's got a lock or 5/8 playing hooker. And he looks up at the scoreboard, I would imagine, rather gleefully, to see that he's in front by 4 points to 0, and that's about to become 6. A couple of heads have gone down there, a couple of looks of absolute dismay. They'll pull it together though, don't worry about that. Ben Eichen, he'll be suffering. Conversion successful. I can't think of another word to describe the kick, Andrew, than embarrassing for Ben Eichen.
Oh, that's right, and it's hardly the start you want when you're about to enter this horror stretch during Origin. I mean, I just thought the couple was going to get Jason Moody, but then Michael De Vere looked to have him covered. It wasn't a straight line to the try line for Jason Moody, but he found it. Now, while all that was happening, Nathan Hindmarsh came over to the bench. A problem with his left eye. We're told he will return, replaced by Troy Wozniak.
So this is Wesley. Big hit by the Broncos. He ran into some very heavy equipment. Simpkins has found the ball, floated forward apparently. There's a quizzical look on the face there.
Yeah, very late call it was from Simpkins. Must have got a call from one of his touch judges. This pass here, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's unbelievable.
So a chance for the Broncos. They'll go back to what they were doing, and that was breaking through fragile first tackle attempts. 11 away, centre ground. Thorne. There's the try line. Lockyer. Here's Tellis. Gee, you've got to watch that play. Lockyer. Walters. Sivanasiva. Parramatta shutting it down for 5. Now Kevin wants it. Grubbing kick. Too deep by a mile.
It's a very poor kick from Kevin Wallace. He wasn't under a great deal of pressure and found it quite easy to put the ball in between players, and it's a big in-goal area. So everything was in his favour. The pressure relieved. Try-saving tackle from Jim Dimmick on Gordon Tallis on this side of the field. And the penalty going Parramatta's way.
Custo for line to the eastern side, safely as she goes, finding it about 13 metres down the ground. Now Jason Smith. They almost called Ian Hindmarsh Jason Smith earlier. Very similar. It might not have even been that Hindmarsh. But there's a couple of Jason Smith lookalikes out there. Dimmick now. Back on the inside for David Wesley. Dimmick a dummy half. I thought it might have been a smokescreen, but he's still there. There's Moody again. Wozniak is out there in 20. This kick is good. Into the field of play. Oh, they had a chance. I'm almost sure Parramatta had a chance and squandered it.
Yeah, knock on by the Broncos originally. I thought that Chivosky was taken out. He was there by De Vere here into his way, and he's ruled that Takiri has knocked the ball forward. So the Parramatta boys will get the ball back from their feed in a great attacking position.
Well, you're quite right, Paul. Simpkins could have penalised there for obstruction. Now Parramatta with a scrum-based move involving Jason Smith. Pulled down by Tallis. Dimmick. Custo. Kelly. Oh, gee. Brad Thorne came up. Now he's got the pass away and Brisbane have got it. Jim Dimmick went to sleep on it. Dimmick really has taken his mind and his eyes off the ball, and it's made Kelly look as though he was rather stupid. You see that? That's very, very bad play from Jim Dimmick. In fact, I think we saw Robbie Paul do it last Friday night playing for New Zealand, and many people rate him as one of the top 5 in the world. Bad luck, I suppose, but by Jove, it could prove costly. Webke inside 30. Parra's end of the ground. Walters trying to inspire them. Tallis trying to rid himself of the tackle from Michael Vella.
And that's the third inside pass from Kevin Walters so far tonight. He believes that there might be a weakness up the centre as Brad Thorne takes it to the 10-metre line. 4 tackles gone. Lockyer coming up to get involved as well.
Iken inside ball again for Tallis. Offload, Walters back for Iken. Here's the last. Walters across for Lockyer. Lockyer might have been pulled back. We might hear more. Will he get it back? He will order a line drop out. I thought I saw interference on Lockyer.
And David Violecki strides very hard to get that ball back into the field of play. He was held back by the collar, no doubt about it, by Michael Vella. The referees and touch judges have missed a couple of things here tonight so far.
Parramatta's trainers calling for a replacement for David Westley, who is a blood bin sufferer. Gary Larson will go on as Webke is put away. 27 metres out from the Parramatta line. Sivanasiva on the inside from Walters. They've been under some pressure, Parramatta. Leading 6-0. Iken goes to the second man, Lockyer. Lockyer for De Vere. De Vere now on the western side, 10 away from the line. As we go across the ground to the right. And Walters fires a long ball out for Carroll. And Carroll's met out there by Moody and Kelly. Now they run to Growth's wing. Sailor and Growth eyeballing each other for the first time in the game. Back they come as the rain tumbles down. And this kick is well placed. Oh, it's a tremendous take. Parramatta's Clinton Schivolski, who scored 2 tries in the corresponding game last year. Way up there, bringing it down safely for the Eels. Now Dimmick. Custo running it away.
Ray, just watching Jim Dimmick in the last couple of weeks, I think it's fair to say he's moving more freely in the last month than I've seen him in 2 or 3 years. He battled with a knee injury for a long, long time. You see him scooting out of dummy half with good speed tonight. Darren Lockyer takes it inside the opponent's half on the first tackle, so a pretty good attacking chance here for the Broncos. 5 up their sleeve. That's Campion straightening.
Carroll now. From Priddis, a dummy half. Walters for Webke. It's good defence on Webke.
Oh, great shot there. I think it was Nathan Hindmarsh, his first involvement since coming back into the game.
Walters, then Iken. Taken down by Gary Larson. Just outside the 20-metre line, Parramatta's end of the park. Lockyer, left foot bomb, straight down to Growth, and the youngster went up. He didn't have to go up, and he put it down. Knocking on. We will take a break and be back in a moment at ANZ. 6-0, Parramatta in front. To the ANZ Stadium where Parramatta are leading 6-0. Young growth came off his wing. He didn't have there wasn't the pressure there that necessitated him going up off the ground. And I fancy that's contributed to him knocking on. And his team is under enormous pressure as you come back to us. Carroll. Custo and Violecki making the tackle. Now Walters. Prittis. Back for Thorne. Big Brad Thorne. Denied by Parramatta. Prittis wider now. Walters away to De Vere. And Parramatta clinging on like leeches at the moment. Defending their lead, defending their line. Tallis. 5 tackles gone. Aiken, grubbing kick, it'll be met and cleaned up. And Violecki grounded in goal. Line drop out, more pressure. Andrew on the sideline.
Yeah, what a test for the men at the back for Parramatta. Violecki being really put through the ringer. Likewise, Eric Grove. If you could have a wish list just for one point in this match tonight, it would be to see a foot race between Eric Grove out on that left wing and Wendell Saylor. And on this right wing, you mentioned the 2 tries for Clinton Schifofsky last time they met. He has been in outstanding form whenever he's played the Brisbane Broncos. Had a quiet year, but tonight could be his night.
Saylor now. 23 metres away from the Parramatta line. Walters, highly involved. Carlaw, one of the good young players at the Broncos, coming off the bench. Walters again, Thorne's on his inside, dummies, takes the tackle. 10 away. When are they going to crack? Are they going to crack? Aiken is through! They are going to crack now! That's what they've been working for, but I've got to say, Parramatta had been under enormous pressure, and if Brisbane didn't come up with something soon, they were going to become so frustrated.
They'd been under siege, Ray, and just a lack of communication in defence. Or no, maybe not a lack of communication, but just poor reading. Gary Larson motioning to the inside player that it was his man, and when Benny Aiken straightened up, in fact it ended up being Gary who was supposed to make the tackle. Just a little bit of hesitation here put the defenders in 2 minds. He slides through Ben Aiken. Poor start to the game, but he's made up for it. He gets over next to the post. But all of that from the pressure the previous 3 sets of 6.
I think they've worked very well for this try, the Brisbane Broncos. We've seen a lot of inside passes from both Kevin Walters and Benny Aiken tonight, just around that ruck. And they set it up. Eventually they had to throw a dummy and go through, and that's exactly what Benny Aiken did there. So they set that up pretty well, the Brisbane Broncos, and they fight back well, and gee, a huge weight off Benny's shoulders.
Yes, Paul alluding to the fact that early in the game, if you missed the start, Ben put in a terrible little kick in the middle of the ground that led to Parramatta scoring a 60-metre try. Michael De Vere converts. Brisbane and Parramatta are deadlocked. 14 gone. We'll be back with more on the wide world of sports in just a moment. Back at ANZ. Converted try apiece. As the ball is batted back by Parramatta. And Simpkins says play on for Parramatta's Gary Larson to play the ball.
Well, a great restart there. Ben Custo coming up, putting up the kick. It travelled 11 metres. The chaser was there. And a great job to get possession as Jason Smith scouting wide, finds support on the inside. Back to Custo. He's dwarfed by Thorne. Ball pops out.
Well, Jason Smith cleans it up. The 11 is Nathan. Ian's in 12. That other player that had me confused in the initial part of the game was Wozniak. Looking a bit like the number 6. Now it's played by Wesley. He's been stitched up. Moran. Custo. Got a quick kick away to Keary. Six all. Campion. Been very good. There's the completions. The completions from Brisbane way up. Not so bad for Parramatta either, really. And is there a Falcon? Yes, there is. Young Harrison puts his name on that honour roll for Falcons this year. Maybe that's a loose use of the word honour. Lockyer puts his kick deep into Parramatta's territory for David Violecki. Brisbane much keener tonight than what we saw from them last Sunday. They were very flat, weren't they, Paul, against the Eagles?
Yes, they were extremely lacklustre at Brookvale Oval. No aggression in either attack or defence, but they looked a lot better tonight. They had a week's rest, and the players who had backed up from Friday night, they're their gun players. Tallis, Webke, Lockyer and Saylor. And when they play well, the rest of the team follows.
Moran with a one-handed pickup. On the bounce for Jason Smith. Short pass for Stuart Kelly. Kelly lost it. Well, that was very heavy defence. Launched by Campion and Eichen, I believe. Certainly Eichen. And down comes the ball. So Parramatta are just guilty of not securing that possession.
Yeah, we pointed out this year on a couple of occasions the feature of Benny Eichen's season so far has been immaculate defence. Really been impressed with that area of his game this year. As Kevin Walters scoots up the blind side, taken by Jason Moody.
Shivanasiva centering the play on the 30-metre line, Parramatta's end. Team 1 versus Team 9. Parramatta down on the 9th rung. Brisbane 4 points clear of their nearest rival on top of the table. Eichen and Lockyer combining. Devere. They ran out of territory. Lockyer now back for Eichen, then Shivanasiva. And now they're on tackle 5. Hancock is there for Brisbane, wanting it on the left. It goes right to the kicker. I don't know about Saylor, whether he's onside or not. It's gone over the touchline. And he's ordering the turnover for Parramatta.
Well, Wendell Saylor very disappointed here. He believes that Eric Groth touched it over the sideline. Difficult to tell from that angle, but the touch judge was in good position as the Eels keep it alive on their 30-metre line. Spinning out of tackles by Leckie. Can't beat Michael Hancock.
It's Andrew Ryan who's on in 15 for Parramatta. Now Daniel Wagon playing on the right side for Parramatta. So far, so good. If you're a Parramatta supporter. Dimmick a dummy half through from Custo. It's out to Moran. Moran away to Kelly. And Kelly will play it on the Brisbane 40-metre line. Tackle 5. Custo. Dimmick. Dimmick out at second receiver. The kick came off a Brisbane player who didn't play at the ball. Now Wagon. Wagon puts a kick in. Shabovsky is after it. Lockyer is under it. So Brisbane will start their tackle count back on the 20-metre line. And it's come out.
Yeah, great tackle there. Hindmarsh and Dimmick combining. Somehow Takiri got it back.
Eichen. Shivanasiva. Carroll. Origin weekend, of course, as far as team. There it goes again from Brisbane. It went backwards again. Saylor. Origin weekend as far as team selections are concerned. A lot of players, their last chance to impress. Off the back of Ian Hindmarsh, and Brisbane again coming back with the football.
The referee ruling there that it was played at by the Parramatta man, so restarted the tackle count. And you see the number 20 Sean Berrigan into the action for the first time. Tackle 45 out from the Parramatta line.
Hancock. Walters, Harrison, Tallis. And Gordon taken down inside the 30-metre line. Walters up and about his work very quickly tonight. The ball goes forward. Scrum will go down on the Parramatta 20-metre line or just inside it.
Yeah, they look pretty good, the Broncos, tonight. They're throwing the ball around, putting some nice passes together. On that occasion, probably a cutout pass was meant for Tony Carroll, and Lockie got in the way, but there's plenty of certainties for the Queensland side in this Broncos team. But some other players striving for their first cap would be Sivanasiva's been in great form for the Queenslanders. I mean, players like Tony Carroll's been there before, but he'll probably get a bench spot. Wendell Sailor's a certainty, Lockyer as well. Maybe Kevin Campion is an outside chance. So they're all playing for something tonight.
And Paul, Michael De Vere has been mentioned in some dispatches as maybe a spot in the 17-man New South Wales side as well. He'd be looking for a big match tonight.
All of that simply adds up again to the fact that Brisbane are coming up to a very dangerous part of the year. They're going to need the 4-point lead they've got. If you look at their record over the last 4 weekends, they've only won 1 from 4 outright. And still they're 4 points in front, but they're going to lose a lot of players to Origin football. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out at the end of that. Moran's kick taken in by Carroll. Berrigan. Been a couple of very good shots out there, and the Hindmarsh brothers have been prominent, Ian and Nathan. Well, that wasn't to play the ball, and he's penalised the defensive side for raking it out.
Well, I think Ray's actually got him for holding him down, pulling him back down. That made it impossible for the Brisbane player to get to his feet to play the football. And the man penalised was Stuart Kelly.
No argument there. It was deserving of a penalty. Walters, Lockyer, Tallis. Gee, he did well to take that ball. He was under enormous pressure when Lockyer gave him the ball. Berrigan now. Walters. They're on the attack. They're 10 out. Wedke was into a gap. Hindmarsh. Nathan. That could have well been Brisbane's second try. Big Webke was running into a hole. Then this happened, and it brings a penalty to Parramatta. A couple of likely Origin teammates having their little disagreement. Big Brad Thorne and Jason Smith. 2-2 the penalties, 6-6 the scoreboard. They played 19 times since Brisbane came into the league in 1988. Brisbane holds the better of it. 13 wins, Parramatta 5, and 1 match has been drawn. Peter referred to that earlier here at ANZ Stadium. Larson now. Sloppy play the ball. Oh, Jimmy Dimmick has passed the ball forward to a Brisbane Bronco. What is going on?
Not sure what Jimmy was thinking there, but not his best play of the night. He turns. That's a G up, that one.
De Vere. Webke. Aiken. Parramatta's got it cleaned up out there with Moody. Haven't they spent some time inside their own red zone, Parramatta?
Yeah, they've done very well. Brisbane at their best when they've got a lot of football at their disposal. Not quite sure about the kicking game from Ben Ikin on a couple of occasions now. There's never been a kick that's gone too high. Another pretty ordinary attempt there from Ben. A little chip over the top was unsuccessful. Now we see Nathan Hindmarsh taking it forward. 4 tackles gone, 33 out from their own line.
So we've had, say, 28 minutes of the game gone, and Brisbane have been in Parramatta's half 2/3 of the time. 2/3 of the available time Brisbane has spent in Parramatta's territory. So really, Parramatta's doing well to be level at 6-all. And times tackled in opposition 20, Brisbane 23, Parramatta only 2. All that adds up to a magnificent performance if you're playing for the defensive side. Andrew, sideline.
And Ray, keep in mind, as we see Jim Dimmick having a bit of confrontation here with Paul Simpkins, keep in mind as you watch this first half that Parramatta elected to run into the breeze in this first half, and it has been quite gusty at times, so if they can keep level pegging at 6-all come half-time, they will be absolutely delighted.
Let me hasten to add that in saying how good Parramatta has been, there's been nothing wrong with what Brisbane's been doing either. It has taken a superb effort by Parramatta to keep them at 6-all. Carlo. Ikin. Tallis. Oh, that has stopped the try for sure. Jim Dimmick. Berrigan. Sean Berrigan. They are so close. Look at it. British.
Watch for Webke on the inside, although it is the last tackle now, so we'll probably see a kick. Prentice slow to his feet.
Ikin. Oh, Jason Smith. He was sitting there like Mark Waugh. Grabbed it, took it in.
They're just not positive kicks from Benny Ikin. I agree with Snorky. You've got to put them high up to the wings. Give your wingers every chance to get them. These sort of kicks just not happening tonight for Benny Ikin, the kicking game, but he's got to be more positive with those ones.
I mentioned the Origin series, the sides announced on Monday, isn't it, Peter? Game 1, of course, is at Stadium Australia on Wednesday, May 10. And you'll see that live and exclusive on Channel 9. So one of the great television events, also one of the great football events. The first battle is May 10. And gee, as you go through putting your teams together, this is going to be a great series. There's nothing between them. Thorne. Campion and Carroll combine. Carroll over the sideline. 18 away from the try line. We will take a break. It is 6-all, 31 minutes gone on Nines Rugby League. Thank you for rejoining us. It is 6-all, the Broncos and Parramatta. It's been just so tight. That was Carroll on the other side of the break for some people.
Gee, that's a show of strength, isn't it, from Eric Growth? One arm pulling Tony Carroll over the sideline 5 metres. Parramatta win the scrum. Violecki slots into the 5/8 roll. Tackled by Shane Webke.
Wagon away. Shavovsky. And repairs for Larson. 15 is Ryan. 123 tackles against 87. And a penalty goes to the Eels. A fancy that was against the markers, not standing in line and directly in front of. 3-3 penalties, 32 minutes gone, and the scoreboard attendant hasn't had a lot of work to do. That's Wozniak in 20. Jason flicking it, Custo giving it, Wesley with it. 30 out. Stuart Kelly cleaning up. I'll tell you what, some of these players, their playing of the football is atrocious. Some of the little basic things that you learn in rugby league, these first grade footballers have forgotten about them. They don't seem important to people anymore, apparently. And I'm not talking about Parramatta and Brisbane alone. 16 is Vialecki, and Parramatta are being introduced to the Brisbane 20-metre line. That kick has gone backwards almost, and Gross went up above them, but Simpkins...
Well, there's been plenty of effort in this game tonight, but a lot of poor execution, which is surprising for these two teams. We expected a tight battle and had every right to. Just looking at Parramatta's 12 matches this year, their biggest winning margin, just 12 points. That was the Raiders 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, what's happened here, Pete? He copped it in the ribs, I'm being told, down the line. He seemed to fall, didn't he, on the hip? He fell on the hip of Vialecki, and he clutched straight away at his right rib, the rib cage area. That will send a bit of a shock tremor through the Queensland selectors. Prudis now. Hey, Joe, Kevin Walters has been busy tonight. He really has. He's playing at halfback. Things mightn't have worked for him, but it's been no fault of his. Lockyer, really, they've let the pressure off them a fair bit through Ben Ikin's kicking game. And now they come back out to the 20-metre line for Parramatta to comfortably restart again. Darren's not happy with his kick either.
I think the kicking games of both sides tonight have been absolutely tragic. Nothing has worked for them, and I'm sure that Wayne Bennett and Brian Smith will both be talking to their respective kickers in both sides to talk about that. But there's been some good performers on both sides. David Wesley for Parramatta has impressed me. He's made a lot of good metres up the middle with Michael Vella, and Jim Dimmick's played quite well on both attack and defence. Whilst for the Brisbane side, Thorne, Webke's been good. Prudis has done some good work around the rucks.
Paul, just on that kicking game, there are two very good kickers out there, and if I was both of these teams, I'd just be relying on basically the one man to kick. For Parramatta, Ben Custo, so far and away the best kicker in the team, and for Brisbane, Darren Lockyer fits into that role as well, and they're the guys who should be taking the majority of kicks. That's another disgraceful one, no pressure whatsoever, and I think that's probably Parramatta's fourth kicker. This time it was Jim Dimmick.
Takiri back on his own 20-metre line. Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock, you'll see the top of the table clash between Melbourne and Newcastle. This should be a cracker of a game. 4 o'clock you'll see it in Sydney. Check your local guides, of course, from Olympic Park, which should be absolutely chock-a-block. Now they're looking at those ribs of Gordon Tallis. Andrew will be on top of that in a moment. Hancock. So there's a problem there. A knock-on has been ordered. A scrum will go down. What's the story, Andrew?
Yeah, Ray, the early news isn't that flash on Gordon Tallis. They fear there is some rib cartilage damage. And you can see from that shot, very, very tender. So that is, well, you mentioned the Queensland selectors, a few flutters there for them, but I think Wayne Bennett would be very concerned. Gordon Tallis playing very strong. And here's the incident again. No doubt about it. He fell right onto the hip, and that's where the damage was done to Gordon Tallis. So at the moment, his immediate future in doubt.
And it is one of the most painful injuries in the game, rib cartilage, if that's what the problem is. Take ages to get over and extremely painful from the word go. As Parramatta with only 3.5 minutes to go, rare chance at this end of the field.
Larson, Moran, Ryan, Custo. Sting going out of the attack with that ordinary pass. This is Hindmarsh. Pardon me, Ian. Haven't seen Parramatta for quite some time. Some new faces out there. Kelly. And that ball going forward off Wozniak for Brisbane to play it 15 away from their own line. Zero tackle. Harrison. I mentioned earlier young Carlaw, a good young player off the bench, and they've got equal raps on Harrison. I'm reminded that Wayne Bennett, through his career, his long career with Brisbane, he's had to terminate the career at Brisbane of some of his senior players to make way for these youngsters coming through, working on the theory that if I don't give them a chance to make the top grade with me, they're going to go somewhere else and come back and hurt me.
And it was shock horror at the time, wasn't it, Ray, with the calibre of player that we're talking about leaving the club. But, you know, if they'd have kept a Wally Lewis at that time, they may not have had a Darren Lockyer. So the proof is in the pudding.
Growth. Oh, Kelly. Well, there's no pressure on Stewart. And he knows it. There's been a couple of simple errors out here tonight. The pressure of the occasion, maybe that ball is greasy. No doubt it will be. Showers in Brisbane for the major part of the day. They've extended across the night. Just at the moment, though, we are rain-free. Parramatta asked to defend again against Michael De Vere. Lockyer. That's gone forward from Lockyer. No. Touch judge disagrees with my call. Okay. Hancock. Running into Ryan.
And don't forget, last weekend Parramatta had a crucial try scored at this stage of the game by Badiris for Newcastle.
Harrison stepping off his right foot to no avail. Now Icon. Oh, 1 metre away. One more tackle to play. Gee, Moran must have been close to offside. And
that way, he came over.
It's a turnover to Parramatta. Moran in jumper 14. How he got to be that close to the Brisbane attackers, I don't know. Anyway, the officials are confident that he was onside. I thought he might have been playing an advantage as Parramatta use up the final play of the first half. And Jason Smith is tackled. That is half-time. A grinding, grueling affair. It's been punctuated with some mistakes. There's been some rain and an incredible start for Parramatta, where one of those stupid mistakes led to a Parramatta runaway try. In the first 60 seconds or so, Brisbane struck back with a mile of possession, and they've levelled it up. We've been like that for some time. 6-all, the Broncos and the Eels on their 7th clash at ANZ Stadium. And it seems that Parramatta is going to worry them right down to the full-time siren. We'll take a break, be back with you in just a moment. A try scored for them by Jason Moody. And at the other end of the park, Brisbane replied through Ben Icon. Topsy-turvy game, close on the scoreboard, but a lot of repair work to be done. These are the stats for Mitsubishi out of that first 40 minutes.
And they've done well, Parramatta. You would think that Brisbane, with that amount of possession, 54%, and controlling it reasonably well, would have a lead. That's not the case. Just one line break showing how tight the defences are. Too many mistakes out there in the first 40 minutes, a lot of handling errors. Most of those 12 committed, fairly simple ones. Both coaches be unhappy with that aspect.
The Brisbane team filing back behind captain Kevin Walters, but there's no Gordon Tallis. He injured ribs during the first half, and obviously there is considerable concern about Gordon Tallis, not just from a Broncos point of view, but very much so from a Queensland origin point of view. Regarded as the best second rower in the world by most people. Paul Simpkins is the referee, and Parramatta goes for a shallow restart. They tried that earlier in the game and it worked okay for them. They ventured another try. With Thorne now, Brisbane having First use of the football, second half. Sivanasiva is tackled on the halfway. Pritis. Fourth tackle gone. Webke takes it to the Parramatta 40-metre line. Parramatta striving to get into the top 8. They're just out of it at the moment. And of course, as you know, Brisbane well documented at the top of the table and 4 points clear of their nearest rival. But we pointed out during their first half, they've got the Origin season coming up, and they would like to retain that margin, that buffer, if they can. Violecki. Just a few metres away from their own line. Parramatta really struggling to get off that area of the park, their own 20-metre red zone. And that tackle on Growth has seen the youngster go down, looking for some attention. Szyvowski on 5 to the 20-metre line. Custo. His kick sending Lockyer across towards the western side of the ground. He now starts his progress down and beyond the 40-metre line. So it was a nice kick return from Darren Lockyer. And Brisbane spread the ball wide early. Harrison got a pass away for Walters. Walters still going. And now Michael De Vere. 12 away from the Parramatta line. Parramatta trying to regroup. Aiken turns it in for Pritis. So from Walters it's in to Campion and then for Lockyer. Carroll on the inside. Lockyer again on the fourth tackle now. Walters gives it wide. Aiken goes out looking for Saylor. Or Takiri, I should say, and in a touch. So this scrum will pack. Parramatta will have the advantages. And Andrew's back from the shed. Yes, Andrew, first up, what's the story on Gordon Tallis?
Yeah, I'm with the injured Broncos halfback Ben Walker, and Ray, the big news is from the Broncos dressing room, and Ben can expand on it, that Gordon Tallis won't be back tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Gordy's looks like he's hurt his cartilage there in the ribs, and it's not too good. I just went in and had a bit of a feel of it, and it doesn't look too good.
Gee, that was good of you.
Yeah, I got the medical advice out there, and I don't think he'll be back.
Well, apparently Wayne Bennett pretty happy at half-time, but the black mark was on the kicking game.
Yeah, that's right. We're going fairly well at the moment, but as you say, the kicking game's letting us down a little bit. They got their first try from a poor kick, but yeah, I'm fairly certain Benny will bring it back in the second half.
Now, what's the Ben Walker story as you get into this critical Origin period and needing all players on deck? Will you be back next week?
Yeah, I'm fairly hopeful. I was fairly close to being back this week, but I should be 100% next week.
All right, Ben, thanks for your time. What about these shots, Ray? The news out of the Parramatta room at half-time was plenty of talk. They're fairly confident going into the second 40 minutes, and basically the words you used going to the break, grinding. Grind this one out. You can win.
There won't be too many of them fit to grind anything out, Andrew, if they keep taking shots like they've been taking. Getting out of their own 20-metre area. This kick down for Saylor sees him tackled on his own 40-metre line, but gee, while Andrew was talking to Ben Walker, some of the defence that Brisbane were launching was pulverising. This is young Harrison. Pritis. Walters. Lockyer. Now Aiken. Jason Moody playing left centre, making the tackle. Campion on the blind side for Carroll. Parramatta's 30-metre line. Aiken again. And it's Violecki who brings it back towards the 20-metre line. Growth got stung in defence earlier, seems to have recovered. Custo Wozniak. Custo. Something of ball movement, but they're not really clearing this end of the park as quickly as they might like. Larson shows them the way. Custo. A kick. Just sitting up and giving the Parramatta chasers a bit of time.
Well, they love the grind, Parramatta. As I pointed out in the first half, Ray, the biggest winning margin, just 12 points. The biggest losing margin was 10 against Canterbury. So a 22-point spread over 12 games. And plenty of tight ones for them. And they won't mind this one going that way.
Shane Webke. Come back to that comment of yours in just a moment, Pete, as Walters gives it for Aiken. Aiken for Campion. Campion for Carroll. Carroll 10 metres away from the line. Fifth tackle. Campion. Walters. Lockyer. And off the feet of Parramatta. Cleaned up by Moran. And then Lockyer pounces from behind.
Another kick goes wrong there for the Brisbane side. This is where Ryan Smith wants to see Michael Vella and David Westley taking the good metres up the middle. And Gary Larson now, he's done his job tonight.
Just picking up on Peter's comment about the closeness of scores of matches involving Parramatta. In the 12 matches they've played, in 8 of them there hasn't been any more than 4 points between them and the opposition, win, lose or draw. So they really have been involved in some very close tussles, Parramatta. Takiri, he's away. Takiri scores on the left side.
Well, that was coming. The way they were playing the Eels, plenty of ball movement, but a lack of go forward for mine tonight. And sure, they spin it here, but no one's moving. They're all standing still. There's a cutout play. It goes horribly wrong. When Stuart Kelly, he runs to the line, throws a speculator out looking for Shavosky. Instead, they found Takiri.
And ironically, the man who threw the pass, Stuart Kelly, bit of an exponent of intercepts himself. He got one last week against Newcastle. This time, he did very well, Lottie Takiri. Not an easy ball to bat down. He's playing very confident football. We saw him score a great try against the Eagles last week, kicking the football from dummy half. And he gets an equally important one early in this second half to give Brisbane the lead for the first time. Ten career tries, 8 this year. That takes him to equal leading try scorer with Wendell Saylor. So you can see the potency of this flank pairing for the Brisbane team. 16 between them, Saylor and Takiri.
De Vere. Clean record tonight. 12 in from touch. He's got it away. Just out to the right of the upright. So the Broncos lead after 49 minutes. 10-6 over Parramatta. Gary Larson comes off. The Broncos by 4 after 9 minutes of the second half. Custo restarts, and again they go for an unconventional restart.
Well, Ray, I don't know whether they're the right tactics. I know that they had success with a short kickoff in the first half, but I really think that the whole of this second half comes back to the fact that Brisbane got the football in great field position, and they've played tremendous field position since then. This will help Parramatta's course, an intercept taken by Jason Smith. But when you've struggled to get to Brisbane's end of the field, as Parramatta have in this whole game, I think you take every opportunity to get the ball down there.
Nathan Hindmarsh inside the 40-metre line. David Westley. I tell you what. I'm not saying he's been targeted, but my goodness, he's been on the end of some very heavy artillery. Bielecki. Inside the 30, 4th tackle, Custo. Vella. He's scaled the dizzy heights of rugby league last year. Jason Smith, Ben Custo and Lockyer taken to ground in goal. So now Parramatta a chance to give Brisbane back something that they've been handing out all night to them.
Oh, that was a lot better set of 6-2. We saw a strong run from Wesley. He's been gutsy tonight. Also, Vella made a 15-metre run and then a nice kick on the end of it.
Especially nice when you consider, Paul, that Ben Custo a natural left footer. That one was off the right boot. Well placed.
So let's watch this set of 6. Will it present Parramatta with something? Wesley. Moody is 18. Kelly. Nathan Hindmarch. Vella. Up the centre initially and then grabbing across the ground. Custo. Moody. Kelly taking them on. Hitting the line. Just inside the 20. Blindside for Moran. Growth. Ball down for Lockyer. Doesn't seem to be having too many palpitations about handling what Parramatta has to throw at them. Everything they do seems to be quite organised. Doesn't seem to be a lot of panic. And they're able to nullify it, shut it down. Thor. Just inside the 40-metre line. Hancock. Berrigan at ruck half. Walters. 43 metres gained on that set. And they complete another one. We'll have a look at the completion rates in just a moment. It's been a very tight contest. Lackluster in many regards. There's the completions. Up around 70%.
And all that means, Ray, is neither team self-destructing in that area. You've got to say, with the amount of possession available, that Brisbane have looked more dangerous with it. So on a couple of occasions, plenty of ball movement from Parramatta, but really not a lot of threat to the defence of Brisbane so far in this match.
Just reminding you that Sunday will televise Melbourne v Newcastle. And prior to that, the footy show on Sunday morning, Warren Ryan will be a special guest, the Newcastle coach. Warren is back page today, and we'll give him a chance to tell his side of the story on Sunday in the footy show. John Rebo joins us, and Craig Smith joins us as well on Sunday. Legend of League is the chief, Paul Harrigan. That'll be live from Olympic Park at 11 o'clock with Peter and Paul, prior to them making their way across to the Logies later in the night, when they would start a very warm favourite, I would think. Now Walters. Icon. Touched in flight. Called by Paul Simpkins. Growth. I hope he's okay, Gordon Tallis, because he's one of the trump cards in the Brisbane Broncos. He's one of the trump cards for Australia, and of course he's going to be a great draw card for the Origin. It'll be a shame to see him miss it. Now Parramatta fumbling and bumbling their way through this particular play. Now that pass looked to go forward to Jason Smith. Now it's come down to the Broncos, and they go immediately to the left of the ground for De Vere. Scored an opportunist try just a few minutes back
And Ray, with no more Gordon Tallis in this match again, the spotlight falls on Carlaw, Hancock and Harrison off the bench. And they are three players who are going to need to continue to rise to the occasion in this tough stretch we're talking about facing the Broncos in the next 2 months.
This is Harrison, almost squeezing through the door. Berrigan, Kevin Walters, now Michael Hancock. The last remaining Bronco from day one. Lockyer's kick! Infield cleaned up by Stuart Kelly. Now Dimmock. 10-6 Broncos. Ian Hindmarsh in 12. 22, Clinton Shavovsky. And a penalty against the Broncos. Rossi.
And Ray, they're starting to look a little battered here on the Parramatta bench. As you can see, David Violecki's got a problem with his left hamstring. He's only been off for the last couple of minutes. And Gary Larson's been on the bench for the last 5 or 6. His problem is a cork just above the knee.
Parramatta, one better of the penalty count. Vella. Now he'll penalise, he does. So 10-6 the difference. We've got Shavovsky out there, one of the Parramatta kickers. Do you kick or do you keep putting the pressure on, Stillo?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that they were going to kick the touch there if they realise that they need to score tries to win this game against the Broncos, and this is their best chance, their third set of 6 in a row. Jason Smith, inside ball, finding Stuart Kelly, and not that much defence moved up on the far side.
Numbers out there, Shavovsky, good hands, Wagon. Now Ryan. Brisbane quick up off their line. You've got to ask the question, were they onside on that play? Custo, knocked on by Brisbane, or touched by Brisbane, nullified by Brisbane. So they go back to 0. Chance for Parramatta. Custo. That's 1. Dimmock. Wozniak. Oh dear. That is letting the pressure off, isn't it, without very much resistance. Brian Smith would have sunken a couple of inches into his seat. Now Sailor does the exact same thing, really. Just when his coach wanted them to hold the ball and run it out, Wendell. So Wozniak does it in the initial instance, and then Wendell Sailor does it for Brisbane here.
Yeah, he might have sunk it a couple of inches, but he might have risen a couple back when Wendell did that. They've got 3 players at either side of the scrum, and they go to the left through Moran.
Moody. Jason Smith. Ian Hindmarsh. 10-metre line. Broncos under siege. Smith. Wozniak. His confidence would have been uplifted by Sailor's mistake. Just looking at Brad Thorne, he was in front of to play the ball and allowed to go. Mind you, it happened in the first half when I mentioned a point involving Dennis Moran too. Jason Smith again. Custo, he loses it. And Lockyer, right on the spot. And away goes Lockyer. Over the halfway. Out it goes now to Sailor. Sailor in and away. And pulled down by Jason Moody. Parramatta all over the park. They're trying to regroup. Walters. Berrigan. Campion. 10 metres from the Parramatta line. Cutting out Thorne, finding Walters, then Aiken away, cutting out Lockyer, and to ground for Carroll. Walters, Thorne. Walters for the grubber. The chase is on. Kelly was there. De Vere made the tackle. Nice piece of football by Brisbane.
Ray, they are past masters of turning defence into attack, and no surprise that it was Lockyer and Wendell Saylor. Here's Darren Lockyer straight up the middle, got tremendous speed, but he saw Eric Grothe coming from his right-hand side, went over his head. Wendell Saylor in and away, backed his ability. Enough scrambling defence led by Jason Moody to stop them scoring their third.
And then the completion of the set. De Vere did well. He was the chaser on the Walters kick. When he realised that was a mission in vain, he went for the defence and was able to make them present the line dropout to bring us to here. Carroll.
And the first tackle made from the dropout only 18 metres out from the line.
Aiken, Walters, Thorne with that big fen. I watch him sometimes and I do think he'd be better off getting back and just winding it up. Now Campion. Here's Carroll! A metre away. That was another try saver from Jason Moody. Critis. Aiken. It might have come off Lockyer. They're having air swings on it. Berrigan. 10-metre line. 5 gone. Still Parramatta's in a bit of trouble. There's the grubber again. Oh! Hands everywhere. And referee Paul Simpkins calls for the help of the video man. Graham West. Brisbane think they've scored.
Well, I don't know they're that confident. There was plenty of Brisbane jumpers there. They outpaced the Eels, that's for sure. De Vere and Takiri. They're both going for it. And De Vere gets his hand there. This will be a try. Beautiful stuff, well constructed. Nice set of 6. The Eels had hung on and hung on. But that is Michael De Vere's left hand on that football first. He's forced it.
And that's just reward for Michael De Vere. He's been a quiet achiever out there tonight. He's had a very good game. The chasers are onside. That's fine. Darren Lockyer sliding it through. Kicking game much better for the Brisbane side in the second half. Stuart Kelly coming across. Didn't have the speed. In fact, both the Brisbane chasers in Saylor and De Vere got there first. And it was just a matter of whose hand got the downward pressure. We believe Michael De Vere.
Yeah, the 4 foremost hands, they all belong to Brisbane. This should be green, it is. So Michael De Vere gets the try. His personal tally tonight will be impressive in what at the moment looks like it'll be a low-scoring game.
He's just had a really good game tonight, Ray. He's been professional in everything he's done, Michael De Vere. And that's generally how he plays week in, week out. There's no mistakes in him. Defensively, very, very good. And he does get his fair share of tries. And that's why he's one of the favourite players of Wayne Bennett. He gets the job done.
And it would appear that Stuart Kelly tonight has gone from playing centre to 5'8". At the moment, he's playing fullback. And at fullback, you've got to be... got to have a great deal of anticipation as to what the opponents are going to do. On that occasion, maybe he was just slightly out of whack, not knowing where to be. He tried hard, as did Szyboski, but all to no avail.
De Vere then, 3 metres in from the eastern touchline. 1 from 2. And here it comes, just away again. To the right of the uprights. Kerrod Walters watching on. We go to a break. We're back in a moment. The Broncos are leading by 8 at the 64th minute.
It's the break that can launch a career. The rush, the nerves, and one night to see if they've got what it takes.
It's such a natural up there.
The Starstruck search continues. Then at 7:30, Russell Gilbert Live.
I'd rather be turning you on.
The new home of live comedy, music and everything cool.
Don't worry about that. That's great.
With comedy queen Ruby Wax and Leonardo's Bride. Saturday on Win, Starstruck and Russell Gilbert Live.
Turn it up. Your Colonel's got the moves with my new popcorn chicken combo.
A carton of the Colonel's new popcorn chicken with chips and a Pepsi, all for just $5.45.
Alley-oop. Go Colonel. Go Colonel.
If you're wondering how to get started and benefit from the new tax system, we've got a simple answer. It's called GST Assist, and it's a free and confidential service created by the Commonwealth Government for anyone in business. We can give you practical information and assistance to help your business make a smooth transition, or simply answer questions over the phone, so you can get on with it. So phone GST Assist on 133088 and get started today. Authorised by the Commonwealth Government, Canberra.
Can you hear that? Hear what? That.
Nothing's tougher than hard yakka.
McCain and vegetable combos, the perfect combination for creative cuisine.
Mate, you've done it again.
Don't forget to add the sauce.
Ah, McCain, you've done it again.
I still remember getting my first candy from my grandfather. It was Werther's Original, and I was 4. I'll never forget that first taste. Sweet and creamy, and just plain good. I felt I was really somebody special. Now, I am the grandfather. And what else would I give my little grandson but my Werther's Original? He's somebody special, too.
This is great, Love.
Well, it's my secret ingredient. Butter.
Only butter brings out the natural taste in food. Because butter is natural.
Finally worked out how to use a barbecue, Dad.
Yeah, I have, haven't I? I even found the perfect shady spot under a tree up the back.
Butter. Taste the difference.
Today, Brand Power looks at how a handy product has just been made even better. It's Glad Snap Lock Bags, now with an improved reclosable seal to lock in freshness. When you snap it shut, it seals tight. Plus, it's easier to open and shut. And now, Glad Snap Lock Bags come in 4 handy sizes: mini, sandwich, lunch and large. For your food and non-food storage needs, look for Glad Snap Lock Bags, now an even better way to keep food fresh. Brand Power, helping you buy better.
A test of integrity.
Something you told me not to see, I saw.
Of honesty.
It's money. Now, what is this, payoff here?
Of loyalty.
Where's my brother-in-law?
Let's go!
Skating on thin ice.
Hurry up, please.
This is us hurrying.
Third watch, Tuesday night.
At 14-6, welcome. Here's the short kick off. It might, oh yes it did. It just went the 10. Or did it? No, it did not, according to the referee. Simpkins has penalised Parramatta, who've got an injury. That's Moody. But they prevented the ball from going 10 metres, according to the referee's call. He's jumped from inside the 10-metre area, and he has ruled that he has prevented the ball going the required distance and penalised. Well, Moody comes off.
Let's look at the tactics of Parramatta tonight. They've tried, 4 short kickoffs for 1 result, a short dropout for no result, which ended up in a try against them.
Sivanasiva. Seen him a couple of times this year and he's been very impressive. Runs straight and hard. Thorn. They're starting to look confident. Carroll, 3 tries to 1 now. Campion. Ball almost apologise to Luke Priddis for being in there doing his job. Lockyer. Trouble for Custo. Look out, they're over. The door has been left open for Luke Priddis.
And amongst the swag of very good number 9s this year, Luke Priddis can hold his head up with the best. Been very, very good for Brisbane. It's been a little bit of a problem area for them in the last few years, since Kerrod Walters left, I guess. But Luke Priddis has been wonderful there for them. And again, I agree with Paul. We come back to the restart, the short kick-off, giving Brisbane possession at your end of the field. They're the kind of team that are going to make you pay. You want to be playing them off their own line, not close to yours.
Yeah, well done, Luke Priddis. He wouldn't be out of favour in any rep side. Let me tell you, he's a very good hooker and deserves his try tonight. He puts in and week out for this Brisbane Broncos team. Looks like one of those stick-on beards you might have bought in a show bag. But he's playing well despite it.
Good option there on the last tackle as well.
So the conversion is there for Luke Priddis' try. 20 points to 6. 67 minutes gone.
Do you know exactly what your partner did today? There's a thin line between trust and the truth.
You lied!
The seductive thriller Trust premieres 8:30 Saturday on Win.
Dave, you coming?
No, I'm alright, I'll just watch.
Okay, if there's someone there, give us a sign.
Yeah, pushed it.
I swear I didn't.
Wasn't me that time.
This is Phil. A-M-G-I. Cam Gibb? Who's Cam Gibb?
You guys look.
Big Mac.
Come and have a drink.
Schooner of new, thanks.
Sorry, mate. No dogs allowed. That's a guide dog, mate. Guide dog? Guide dogs are either German Shepherds or Labradors.
What are they giving me?
I'll give that man and you.
I'd like to thank Auntie Jean and Uncle Laurie, Uncle Bob and Auntie Bev.
There's over $22 million won on Keno a month.
I'd also like to thank my cousin Dave.
No wonder he's keen on Keno.
These are great. I can't believe they actually came out.
Yeah, they could have been a real disaster.
Our honeymoon.
It rained.
It was romantic.
It rained.
It was exotic.
It rained. Come on. With Kodak Max, you'll never miss a moment. It's the film that captures action in rain or shine.
We had some sun.
Yeah, the day we left. Sunlight, low light, action or still. Kodak Max, it's all you need to know about film.
There's underwear. And there's Target underwear. Target underwear doesn't ride up your and the elastic won't stretch. Out of shape. Target underwear will keep its shape. Wash after wash after wash. So for really comfortable underwear, look under here.
With the onset of colder weather in our area, rats and mice are becoming a real nuisance. You know the telltale signs, there's droppings, food damage, and they even chew through electrical wires. Well, there's one sure way of getting rid of them. Mortine Rat Kill. Just one feed is enough to kill any rodent fast. And Mortine Rat Kill's contained bait stations are easy to handle. So if you have a rodent problem, remember Mortine Rat Kill kills fast in just one feed.
More smart, more sure, Mortine. Why would a man with a terminal illness jump to his death?
I think I killed him.
A family as thick as thieves.
Post-mortem suggests that your husband was murdered.
Absolutely not.
A mystery where no one is capable of telling the truth.
I want you both to go back to the beginning, and I want you to find the murderer.
A mystery with just one witness, a ferocious dog.
Come on, move it!
And commotion in the ocean. Are the rats cut out for tactical response?
We have to mark that a failure. What are you talking about?
Water Rats returns Tuesday 8:30 on Win.
20-6 as we welcome you back to ANZ Stadium. The Broncos have gone from 6-all at half-time to 20 points to 6. They've scored 4 tries to 1, and 3 of them, of course, in the second half. Carlo. Paul was talking about Luke Priddis before the break for some of you. He knew that Custo was in trouble with injury, and he knew the time was right to go from dummy half. But I make this point: if you're going to bring Luke Priddis into contention for a number 9 spot, by Jove, it opens the discussion widely, doesn't it? There's a mile of them. Very good number 9s.
Yeah, I don't think he will make it, Ray. That's what we're saying, is that his form this year has been first class, and we talk about the number 9s running around who are in contention, and they've probably played only as well as he has. As Eric Growth puts the foot over the dead ball line to force the 20-metre restart.
Yeah, I'm not saying he'd make it either, but you know, if you lost Jeff Tuvey and players like Andrew Johns and others from the hooking role, well, he'd fit in quite well.
Sideline Andrew.
And Luke Priddis did play some rep footy back in the Super League days in 1997. Look, the demolition job of the Eels bench is now complete. Ben Custo at the moment doesn't look like he'll return. A problem with his left ankle, and also off to my right they're running out of ice packs. The ice on the back of Jason Moody, on the back of Michael Vella, and Gary Larson won't be returning. Still ice on that court.
Wesley. Juggle from Ian Hindmarsh, and they're just outside the 40-metre line. Smith with a deft little kick across the top of the 3/4, and then Moran was after it. I tell you what, he gets 100 out of 100 for persistence. Moran, he knew what he was after, and he got it. Parramatta then, thanks to him, send Wozniak down the right side. Shavovsky, Moran, Smith, rifling it back for Violecki. Kelly. Oh, gee. I thought Jason Moody could have gone infield there a bit earlier. Still working down a blindside that was about 1 foot wide. Now from Violecki, finding Jason Smith. Out in front of Dimmick. They're a lot better than this Parramatta. Shavovsky tries to do something for himself, and it's a line dropout.
Yeah, delicate kick there from Shavovsky is a good result. You know, we should take into account the fact that they have got plenty of wounded players out there tonight, and some players that we might not see come back into the action. But I think in a lot of ways, Brisbane tonight have basically concentrated on Jason Smith, not overreading him. He's been first receiver many, many occasions tonight, and Brisbane prepared just to pick off his runners, wait to see what Smith does, and then let's snuff it out.
10 minutes of the game to go. 20-6 the score, the Broncos. And more troubles for Parramatta. Olympic Park, the venue for Sunday's telecast, and I hope I'm right in saying it'll be a very big crowd to see Melbourne play Newcastle. Unfortunately, we won't see Kamali head-to-head with Andrew Johns, but there are some tremendous clashes looming in that game. 4 o'clock, Melbourne versus Newcastle from Melbourne. Footy show, Warren Ryan, one of our guests on Sunday morning. Violecki, 12 out. Jason Smith, Jim Dimmick, offers a run around, cuts him out. Moran to Kelly. Kelly a grubber, and Lockyer a consummate. It'll come back to the 20 for the restart. Then, of course, on a very big Sunday, as I mentioned earlier, the Logies live and exclusive to the 9 network with Andrew Denton. De Vere. Thorne. Have a look at the strength of the man. Huge man, very, very strong. Sivanasiva. Some talk that Thorne might go back to rugby union or go across to rugby union. And did I not read where the Broncos are desperate to change his mind on that score?
I think his work rate's much improved this year, Ray. But for a while there, he probably didn't utilise the tremendous physique that he has. So another mistake from the Eels. I think we've seen more carries and more defensive work from Brad Thorne this year, and he's a far better player for it.
I just wish, and I said it earlier, I'd love a comment from yourself or Paul. I just wish he would get back and wind it right up. Let it all hang out a couple of times, like he's big and tough and mean. He seems as though he wants to do a bit of stepping, you know, he tries to be a bit fancy for my liking.
Well, he's a fine player. I mean, he can't do everything. Not every player's got all the repertoire of skills, but he's got plenty. His size is his biggest asset. Sometimes he runs across field a bit, but all in all, he's a pretty good player.
De Vere. Icon. Carlo. Sivanasiva. Curtis away. Harrison on. Icon. Nice ball inside for Webke. Harrison for the line. I think Simpkins likes this, but just wants to double check something. Harrison, the youthful face of the number 16.
He burrows down, just as we saw Luke Prittis do a moment ago, and it looks like a try for mine.
Yeah, I can't see any drama whatsoever, and well done to the kid. He's made a good fist of the first grade in NRL this year. It'll be a wonderful season off the bench for the Brisbane side. And let me tell you, kids like Ashley Harrison, over the next 4 or 5 or 6 weeks, they'll really earn their money. Get a lot more time on the field, probably in the starting lineup, this kid, the next few weeks, and he'll handle it. He's got plenty of ability.
Green light. Try for Ashley Harrison, the 18-year-old. Australian schoolboy in 1998 from Wavell State High. Celebrates his 19th birthday in 19 days from now, or thereabouts. Good luck to the kid. As I said earlier in the telecast, him and Carlo, I know they got very big expectations from them. Third career try. Crowd tonight just over 20,000. Obviously, I would think kept down by the weather. I mean, they get 28 here. That's about what they expect these days. This kick, and again, just away to the right. So Michael's not all that happy with his kicking tonight. He just can't get the damn thing to come a little bit further round. Vossi.
Yeah, Fatty's exactly right about the players that are going to have to step up to the plate for the Broncos over the next 4 or 5 weeks. I sat down with Ben Walker at half-time and went through the side. Suddenly they're going to be minus Lockyer, Icon, Saylor, Webke, Tallis, Thorne, probably Tony Carroll, and you're going to be reading more about blokes like Harrison and Carlaw and Berrigan and Bampton to do the job.
Which places high emphasis, Andrew, of course, on this break that they've established. It's going to come in very, very handy for them.
Oh, it is too, and when you think that they played their first 4 rounds away from home, I mean, later on in the season, that's going to come back. They'll get their last 4 games at home. That'll be a great advantage.
Yes, we mustn't forget that Brisbane and North Queensland, they were on the road for the first 4 weeks, weren't they? Halfway line for Brisbane. Webke. One thing that I'm absolutely sure of, we're going to see a marvellous final series when we get it down to that top four. The battle of Melbourne and Brisbane and Newcastle, just to rattle off three without trying to cause some heated debate. Cronulla, they'll want to put their hand up, of course. Shabovsky. Vella. Jason Smith. Nathan Hindmarsh. 44-metre gain on 5, but all of that now is just purely academic. Jason Smith with a little kick, hoping that that might work, and cleaned up by Michael De Vere. Just looking at our calendar of the big sports coming up in Wide World of Sports on the 9 Network. From the 13th of May, we will televise live the Australian Swim Championships, and of course they are the Olympic trials. So you'll see all the big stars, Thorpe, Hackett, Klim, O'Neill. We'll see them in prime time here on 9 in about a fortnight's time. 13th of May, a week of it. Beautiful stuff. Campion, and of course on the 10th of May, just in front of that, is the first State of Origin. So we've got some great sports events coming up for you on the 9 Network. As Lockyer kicks into the in goal, Moran getting it back.
I think a lot of people looking forward to the State of Origin series, as they always do, but especially so after basically a drawn series last year. But the ideal situation, of course, with Queensland retaining the State of Origin because they had won it the year before. But I do think that this year, everybody hoping that there'll be a 2-1 result and a nice close series. Nice almost forward from Violecki from dummy half to Troy Wozniak. As the clock winds down inside the final 3. Parramatta have had plenty of success here at ANZ, but not tonight.
Brisbane repeating the dose from round 1. Should I say from earlier in the year when they inflicted, I think it was an 18-10 defeat on them. Yeah, that was round 2. They beat Parramatta 18-10 at Parramatta Stadium.
Well, I think going back to round 25 last year, Ray, this is Parramatta were the last team to defeat Brisbane here at ANZ Stadium.
The wheel has turned, Peter. The start to this year by Brisbane alone has been in stark contrast to last year. Takiri developing every game we watch him play, developing into something special. He and Sivanasiva, to mention just another couple of them. Lockyer, through a gap for the corner, he's over. Darren Lockyer, one of the game's present day heroes.
Yeah, look, if he's not one of the most exciting players in this game today, if not the most exciting, I'll dead set turn it up. How good is he? Glides over the field. He doesn't run, he glides. Beautiful player, beautiful runner of the football. He just feigned, he saw a slight gap there and exploded through it.
Yeah, the longer this game's gone, the better Darren Lockyer has got. He just got Jason Smith for pace here. You can see when he put the foot down, the acceleration. Too much for the Parramatta lock come 5'8". And a simple run to Darren Lockyer. Quiet in the first half, but his second half has been excellent as always. And yes, there aren't too many players in this competition that you enjoy watching.
Wendell enjoyed it too. The reaction from Wendell Saylor. He's been there. He knows what it's all about. The joy of scoring a try. And he celebrated with Darren as he, as Paul put it, glided through the gap. He does that. He floats, doesn't he? I think I said it about 3 or 4 weeks ago. You can pick him a mile away. when you know you're looking at something special, they look special. Kenny, Gasnier, those sort of blokes. You just look at them the first time and say, geez, here's something very good. Vorton. Backo. 28-6, Brisbane have beaten Parramatta. Shouldn't be laughing in the presence of the great Sterling when his team has been beaten by 22 points. 28-6.